Nothing changed when I tried to eat less. But everything started to shift when I changed how my body used energy. For a long time, I believed the only way to lose weight or feel more energetic was through strict dieting. Cutting calories, avoiding certain foods, following rigid plans. I tried all of it. Some worked for a short time, but none of it lasted. The problem was, so instead of focusing on restriction, I started looking at something different: how to support my metabolism without dieting. The issue with most approaches is that they treat weight and energy as a simple math equation. Eat less, move more. But in real life, the body doesn't work like that. When you cut calories too much, your body adapts, slows down, energy drops, cravings increase, and over time it becomes harder to maintain any progress. I noticed this pattern in myself. The more I restricted, the more tired I felt. My focus dropped, my motivation disappeared, and even small efforts felt harder than they should. It wasn't a lack of discipline. It was my body trying to protect itself. That's when I started paying attention to metabolism not as something fixed, but as something that could be supported. The first change I made was simple. I stopped skipping meals. Instead of long gaps without food, I focused on consistent eating patterns. This didn't mean eating more junk. It meant giving my body regular signals that energy was available. Over time, this helped stabilize how I felt throughout the day. Fewer crashes, fewer intense cravings. The second shift was movement, but not in the way most people think. I didn't jump into intense workouts. I focused on regular, low-effort activity. Walking more. Standing instead of sitting when possible. Small actions that didn't feel like a burden. This kind of movement added up, and more importantly, it didn't trigger burnout. Sleep was another factor I had been ignoring. I used to think sleep was optional as long as I got things done. But poor sleep affected everything: hunger, energy, focus. When I started improving my sleep routine even slightly, I noticed that my body responded better during the day. I wasn't constantly fighting fatigue. Then came hydration. It sounds basic, but being slightly dehydrated affects how your body functions. Drinking enough water throughout the day helped more than I expected. Not in a dramatic way, but in a steady, noticeable improvement in how I felt. I also started paying attention to how I combined foods. Instead of focusing on cutting things out, I focused on balance. Adding protein, including fiber, and avoiding large spikes in energy followed by crashes. This helped keep things stable, which made everything else easier to maintain. At one point, I also looked into supplements not as a shortcut but as support. The key here was understanding that no supplement replaces habits. At best, it complements them. I approached it carefully, focusing on ingredients and how they might support metabolism, rather than expecting instant results. What surprised me most was how these small adjustments worked together. No single change felt dramatic, but combined they created a different baseline. I had more consistent energy. I wasn't constantly thinking about food. And over time, my body started to respond. The key insight is this: metabolism isn't just about how fast you burn calories. It's about how your body manages energy throughout the day. When you support that system through consistency, movement, sleep, and balanced habits, things start to shift naturally. This approach is slower than dieting, but it's also more stable. Instead of forcing change, you allow your body to operate more efficiently, and that changes how sustainable the results are. Another important point is that this process removes pressure. There's no constant feeling of failure if you don't follow a strict plan. Instead, you focus on patterns, small improvements that are easy to repeat. Over time, those patterns become automatic. Looking back, the biggest mistake I made was thinking I needed extreme solutions. What actually worked was consistency and simple actions. Not perfect, not rigid, just consistent. And that's something most people overlook. They search for the fastest method, but ignore the systems that make results last. If you take anything from this, let it be this: your metabolism responds to what you do every day, not what you do occasionally. The goal isn't to control everything. It's to create conditions where your body can function better without constant effort. In the end, boosting metabolism without dieting isn't about avoiding food or following strict rules. It's about understanding how your body works and supporting it in a practical way. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more breakdowns like this. And if you want to see how these habits connect with specific tools and ingredient-based approaches, there's a useful resource linked in the description that goes deeper into the structure behind this system.